I'm behind on my citizenbrick reviews, but they've been putting out a lot of cool products in the last couple of months that I definitely want to make sure I do a video on, especially the autopsy enthusiast there. They had some new guitars, some new accessories, so let's check them out. Starting with the lone tile, we have a 3x3 round tile here. They use the same piece for their New York style pizza from their convention enthusiast. But has some, I believe it's called macrame or just some cross stitching with Bless This Mess. Really like the pixelated square look here to make these stitches look realistic. You can see that some of these shapes are grouped together and some of them have some gaps in between them just to give it a more textured look. Very fun piece for a tile, especially if you want to build an ironic home of some sort. So I felt like I had to pick this up since I feel like it could be used for Fallout. Now to the minifigure parts as well as the new guitars that I picked up. We have a couple different ones here with two different styles. Obviously the one on the right here is printed with a sort of shattered look. I think I saw that some people said this might be Eddie's from Stranger Things, or it might just be another metal rock band type guitar. The other one is just a classic wood one. I think it's like a Fender or something. I'm not like an expert on the instrument, obviously, but I just wanted to pick up one that is a little bit more of a normal color. This one is also cool, obviously with the very intricate shaping on the head as well as, the body. On the back of the body, there's also a little bit of a mold for, I believe, some of the electrical components. So that's a nice little bit of accuracy. I like the red here since the only one I have of this is in black. So just get some more options of this shape. And I'm trying to get at least one of every shape because I'm doing the guitar scene from Spinal Tap eventually. And underneath that, we have a new torso and a new head, which I'm also excited about. The torso is their roadie shirt, which has the citizenbrick logo with some metal font. On the arms, you have these stud bracelets on both sides with the black and the silver printed on. And the back is going to continue the tank top design as well as the chain that is also going to be metallic silver on the actual chain. It looks like there's a locket that is more of a copper color. So there's two different metallic shades there. Legs are old, but they're lightning pants. Just thought it would be fitting for a metal character. And this head is very cool. It's going to be the same one that we're going to see later on the actual figure, but in the big head style. I tried my best to try and get the brain to come out. I don't know if it can. It felt really tight. But when we get to the smaller minifigure scale one, we'll see that I can get it out. I think this is very fun to see it in the big head style. Unfortunately, not with an enlarged, detailed look of the face, which we'll also see eventually. But the pink on the brain is actually multiple colors as well. There's a little bit of dark kind of mixed in there to give it some more depth, as well as just the texture. And we got a couple more parts, which are just going to be the same head, but in flesh, and this St. Patrick's Day torso that they made for Brick World Indianapolis this year, which happened that weekend. Nothing on the back of this torso, just the neutral face with the shamrock. They had another version of this sort of torso for St. Patrick's Day with a different design. I wanted this one though. The other one was green with some printing on it. I just felt like this one's more citizenbrick, so this is the one I chose. And again, these heads are really great. I'm glad that they did flesh and yellow. It'd be great to see this in other colors, maybe at Brick World next week. With the accessories out of the way, we got the figure here in their typical packaging on the card back. It's been red for the last couple of years. My sticker's coming off, but autopsy enthusiast there, like I said in the intro. On the front, you got some jokes about the company. Same's going to be for the back. Got their website for where you can buy from them, citizenbrick.com. And since it is a carded minifigure like this, you do have to damage the packaging to get them out, which is fine. I really want to see this minifigure, but let's check it out. Getting to the autopsy enthusiast finally. This is a cool figure because it is a callback for their 15th anniversary to do a figure that was part of their original release again. Obviously this time with a lot more detail, accurate organs and everything. I think the first one just had like the Y sort of stitched look. See on the toe tag there, it has a J Doe, so it could be a John Doe, Jane Doe. A little bit of blood dripping along the legs, as well as a scalpel since the character is supposed to be lying down on the autopsy bed. The intestines look great. There's a lot of different cool reds and pinks in there to give it a bunch of different colors. The skeleton is gray though, which is interesting. Obviously, I've never done an autopsy, so maybe that is accurate. Speaking of, they did change up the continuity for their organ design since it doesn't match the printing that was already on the Visible Man. 2 different shapes here and obviously different colors. Since this one's probably more of like a model in a doctor's office. But still very cool to see 2 different styles here. I feel like you could probably use this minifigure for like an alien or even like the Thing in some way, since it does just have like the chest popped open. Getting to the back of the torso. Nothing on the back or sides of the legs, but you do get a double-sided head here, which has the classic neutral face, which is what the original Autopsy Enthusiast had. But on top of that, it also has this new molded head with one side also having the more detailed look with some blood at the incision mark area, and also just some nice facial details, honestly. I did bring it up. Couldn't get the brain out of the bigger head. I was actually able to get it out of the smaller one. It is a pretty thin piece, so obviously be careful not to lose it. But you can see on the inside there is just a little sealing of the plastic. Stick it with a bar piece of some sort, and that is what the top of the head looks like. The purpose of the dual-sided head as well is that you're able to turn it around and have the less detailed head. And there are the little notches in the brain for getting it back on, so you just need to make sure that those line up with the front and the back. And I did have a little bit of an issue popping it back in, but it's not super difficult. See, I did it right there. I do really wish that the big ones would pop out on these, because it would honestly be kind of fun as like a candy bucket for like Halloween. That was kind of my first impression here. I'm sure if you really worked at getting the brain out, you could. If you heat it up, maybe it would make the plastics a little softer. But it's a great figure, you know, no accessories, which I guess is kind of a bummer. It would be nice to have like a scalpel part instead of it being printed on, kind of like what came with the Operation Enthusiast, especially since that there is a Brick Arms scalpel already. They wouldn't have to make a new accessory. They could probably talk to the person at Brick Arms. But lots of great coloring on this torso. It just ends up being a little simple, which is fine, I guess, since it is a callback to an even simpler minifigure. The dual-sided head is definitely appreciated to give you 2 different display options. I'm sure for a lot more of like the older classic styled fans of Citizen Brick, and of course people that want a more detailed, more accurate look to what a human would probably look like. You got 2 options, so you can please more groups. The molded head is perfect, and I'm glad to have it in the normal minifigure scale version as well as the big heads. Let's go to some comparisons and the final verdict. I think as time has gone on, I've been more interested in the Citizen Brick original characters more than the pop culture ones for the most part, just because they are a little bit more unique, have a little bit more interesting part usage and custom molds. But it's always great to pick up a nice minifigure either way, or even just some nice parts like the Citizen Brick Brody torso. I think that is one of their better t-shirt designs that they've done in recent times. It's nice that it is kind of a Citizen Brick, like, exclusive design to with their logo on it. It's not referencing something in the real world necessarily, so it adds to the like Citizen Brick enthusiast torsos in that sort of collection there. And this year so far, they have had some really interesting minifigures, like all of the pyramid ones that I also reviewed, and just getting back towards the end of last year with the Sopranos ones I recently reviewed as well, with some nice molded parts. They're always doing a lot to improve their designs, and one of my favorite figures by them being Visible Man, and this sort of lineup of semi-related characters that are related to operations and all that. Having the detailed head is nice. I do like the blood. I feel like that is one of the things that is kind of missing, seeing these larger heads with no blood, and I think there is no blood on the simple XI neutral face one on the back either. So I guess that's one downside for this minifigure here. But I like it. It is just too bad it is very simple. No extra accessories other than the head, I guess, if you want to count that as an accessory. But I feel like it needs something in its hand, whether it would be like a printed larger tile of some sort as like a bloody bed or something. Like, you got to do something to make it a little bit more interesting, especially since like there's no arm printing. There's only leg printing on the front. So it just leaves you wanting a little bit more, but it is good on an actual concept level, and I don't see anything wrong with the design at all. I just feel like it could use a little more. If you want to see more Citizen Brick reviews or custom LEGO videos overall, check out all the content on my channel. If you want to help out the channel and become a member, feel free to do that for early access to videos, any exclusive member-only content, and anything else with those tiers. I've been Brick Radiop. I will see you in the next video.